Alright, let's start with the obvious. The world is teetering on the edge of something huge. Imagine a game of chess where every move is a missile strike, a defense pact, or a political threat. That's where we are with Iran right now. But here's the twist. This isn't just about Iran. It's about how global powers are scrambling to redefine alliances, redraw boundaries, and decide whether to fight or negotiate. Let's unpack this. First, the Houthis. These Iran-backed rebels in Yemen aren't just causing chaos for the sake of it. Their recent attacks on Saudi-backed forces in Marib? That's not random. It's a calculated move to destabilize a key US ally and keep Saudi Arabia tied down. But here's what fascinates me. Why now? Is this a distraction from Iran's internal struggles? Or are the Houthis testing how far they can push before the US actually responds? Because let's be real, Saudi Arabia's threats to retaliate? Talk is cheap. We've heard that before. The real question is whether the US will step in, or if Biden's team is content to watch from the sidelines. Now, Ted Cruz wants Trump to arm Iranian protesters. Wait, let me rephrase that. Cruz is pushing for the US to actively destabilize Iran's government by supplying weapons to anti-regime forces. On paper, it sounds bold. But let's pause and think. How often has this worked in history? Arming rebels rarely ends cleanly. It creates power vacuums, unintended consequences, and sometimes worse dictators. Cruz calls for a regime collapse, but what replaces it? A power struggle? Chaos? And here's the irony. Cruz criticizes Trump's diplomacy, yet his solution is the same old playbook that's failed repeatedly. It's like watching a broken record, except the song changes but the scratches stay the same. Then there's the Saudi-Turkey-Pakistan Defense Pact. This is wild. Saudi Arabia and Turkey have been rivals for decades, competing for regional dominance. Pakistan? They're a nuclear power with their own complicated ties to China and the US. So why are these three suddenly best friends? Because the stakes are rising. They are hedging against Iran's influence and the uncertainty of US support. But here's what people miss. This isn't just about Iran. It's about a shifting Middle East where old alliances crumble and new ones form over shared fears. Will this pact last? Probably not. But it's a sign that the region is preparing for a long, messy conflict where no one can trust anyone. Let's talk about Trump's comments on the Strait of Hormuz. He claims it's a sort of open, but let's dissect that. Hormuz is the throat of global oil supply. If Iran controls it, they hold the world economy hostage. Trump's trying to spin this as a win, but the reality? Ships are barely moving through, and when they do, they're forced to navigate Iranian waters under strict surveillance. This isn't open, it's a controlled chokehold. And Trump's insistence that the US has unlimited munitions? Come on. We've heard reports of shortages for months. The Pentagon's been scrambling to replenish stockpiles since the war started. This isn't confidence, it's damage control. But here's the bigger picture. This conflict isn't just about territory or oil. It's about ideology. Iran's regime sees itself as a revolutionary force challenging Western dominance. The US and its allies are trying to contain that vision, but their strategies are all over the place. Cruz wants regime change. Trump wants deals. Saudi Arabia wants stability but can't secure its own borders. And the Houthis? They're the wild card, happy to keep the chaos burning as long as it weakens their enemies. What's the endgame here? Honestly, I don't think anyone knows. The Strait of Hormuz negotiations with Oman? That's a temporary fix at best. Even if they agree on a new shipping framework, it won't resolve the underlying tension. And Trump's theater diplomacy, threatening strikes, then calling them off, has made the US look indecisive. Iran's parliament speaker called it a theater. Iran is not wrong. The longer this drags on, the more the world questions whether the US can actually lead in a crisis. So where does this leave us? In a stalemate with no easy exit. The Houthis will keep attacking. Saudi Arabia will talk tough but hesitate to escalate. The US will bounce between military posturing and half-baked diplomacy. And the real losers? Civilians in Yemen, caught in the crossfire, and global markets teetering on the brink of another oil crisis. This isn't just a war in the Middle East, it's a mirror reflecting the chaos of a world where old rules don't apply anymore. And if we're not careful, we'll all be living with the consequences.